Our last visit with all of you was Chesapeake Bay. We decided to take a 3.5-hour trip to Lynchburg, Virginia.
Right. So we were already in Virginia, and I had some things I had wanted to do out that way, mainly Shenandoah National Park, Booker T. Washington National Monument, and the Appomattox Courthouse. And so it was an easy trip. Virginia, just heading west, 3-hour trip. We get there, and I was not very happy. So we show up at 2 o'clock. There's nobody working there. They left our information out of the front door for us. We show up at our campsite, and it is heavily wooded. You can't even tell where our site starts and ends. And so I called, and thankfully, Thousand Trails has been really good about getting us moved. So they put us on a bigger site. But the problems just kind of like piled from there. The other loop had this steep hill, and I'm going over the hill, my leveler bottoms out, and I have to back all the way down the hill and go in a different way in order to get to our campsite. We back it in, no problem, and it is so unlevel, I had to pull every leveler I had in order to balance it, and I still had a tire that was off the ground, and I just decided it's staying. So we unpacked and tried to get our bearings about us, and I would say on a good note that the park itself is like a diamond in the rough.
It was beautiful. They had I don't even know how many mile around lake or pond.
11 acres.
They had trails in the woods that we walked upon, and that we also took our e-bikes around, and Jeff had some fun in the woods.
So I'll say this, right? So the lake is beautiful, but they have a beach that is totally covered in grass because they don't take care of it.
You couldn't swim in the pool. The
pool had no water. It looked like it had been under construction for years. Yeah. The camp store had been literally boarded up and was rotting away. The trails that we had fun on just went to nowhere. They would just end around the lake. You know, this is our apartment, so wherever it is, we're fine. So we can just hang out inside, which I think you probably did most of the time. No?
I did there because the bugs way out in no man's land was crazy. The mosquitoes, the little gnats. I felt like we were in a forest.
We were in a forest.
But we made it work.
So we decided, we're there for a week. Well, let's look outward. And fortunately, you have Lynchburg. And so it was 40 minutes technically south of Lynchburg. So we had to drive up in there, which was refreshing that we actually had a nice major town next to our campsite. But as I further looked and planned our trip to Shenandoah National Park, what I thought was an hour-and-a-half drive actually turned out that it was going to be a 2.5-hour drive to get to our northern starting point, and we have to work our way back. And the math didn't work. I mean, that would be 5 hours of driving, probably 6 hours of actually exploring. It just, I didn't want to do it. I don't want to drive for 5 hours, and knowing that we can come back around next year and just get a campground that's closer to a national park and just do it then. So we scratched it. I was fine. I said, you know what? We'll just scrub it. We'll get it next year. But an hour away was the Booker T. Washington National Monument, which I was very excited for. The downside was we were in the middle of a government shutdown. Nobody was answering the phone. And so I was like, well, maybe just the actual welcome center is closed and the parks are still open, because they said parks are still open. So we drive an hour out there and we show up, and the gates closed to the entire park. So now I can't do anything.
So now we're thinking, oh my God, this might have been the horrible time to be trying to do anything in this RV. We picked a horrible time because of the government shutdown. So we started getting kind of down and out a little bit.
So there was one other major thing to do in the area, and that was the Appomattox Courthouse. That is the location where the Confederates officially surrendered.
But that was closed down also.
Yes. These turns out that these buildings are all closed. The national parks themselves you can wander through, but that didn't really work to our advantage in this case. So we decided to spend a little time wandering around Lynchburg and get a little history of it.
So we found out that Lynchburg was founded by
John Lynch. So he ran a ferry across the James River right there at the spot where Lynchburg is. And so it was founded and named after John Lynch, who coincidentally was an abolitionist and freed his own slaves. And the interesting twist was that his brother Charles was a judge that was the opposite. And he liked killing people. And so he had dubbed a term Lynch's Law, which was basically you were judged without a trial. If he thought you were bad, you were bad. And so that is where they believe the term lynching actually came from. So where you have a town that's actually named after the good brother, the actual term lynching came from the bad brother,
Charles.
And so it was very interesting, bit of history. They were working on establishing some sites in Lynchburg itself, but I don't think it was actually ready to go by the time it went through.
Yeah.
So, I was kind of bummed out all around. 3 strikes, I'm out. So we just spent the rest of our time
just relaxing.
Yeah, just recovering and
enjoying the fact that we're doing this. We reflected a couple times and we were like, you know what? What are we complaining about? What are we rushing around for? What are we trying to do this and this and this for? We're on our own time. And I think being in Lynchburg actually kind of helped us out to realize that we're supposed to be enjoying ourselves and not spazzing out because we can't see certain things because we're on our own time.
I will say that Lynchburg had the opposite effect for me. I have since recovered with some of our future stays, but Lynchburg took me out. I was like, we are doing this wrong. I don't know what to do to fix it. It seems like we're just not in the right places at the right times that I want to do stuff, and I don't know how to fix it. And so I left Lynchburg pretty bummed out.
He did, but I think a lot of it was because he's really fresh into retirement. He was used to having things going certain ways that he can control. His resources, if something didn't work, he went to the next resource, where this is not that way when we're on the road doing this.
So, when you walk into a place, here's the deal. When we go into a place, the first thing I do is I try to look around and see what there is to do.
His military skills kick in.
So you do a recon, right? You figure out what there is and where you want to do and try to put a plan together. And when the plan is just falling apart and you're still new at this, so you don't even know what the expectation is, it's kind of frustrating. So that was Lynchburg. And, we stayed there a week.
And it was nice for the most part.
There was just nobody around. So we're barely by ourselves in the woods. And at the end, we just packed up and left.
Well, I think also with some of these places, we're learning that togetherness is like the key. Like, we have no choice. Like, we have to do things together and we have to figure things out together to kind of use our imagination on some things.
Yes. So we make something out of something, right?
And that's what we're doing.
So make something out of nothing, right? So, after all, I left Lynchburg defeated. I'll just say that. So we packed up and we headed out. And I did not mention that the first part of coming into Lynchburg, into that campground, there was a 21-mile road that was a two-way road that really could only fit maybe 1.5 vehicles. And so we came in, it was a 35 mile an hour for 21 miles. I was freaking out. And now we had to take that road back out to our next destination, which was Lake Gaston, North Carolina. So we're actually leaving Virginia, hitting our first stop in North Carolina in our southern trip. And it wasn't too bad. We sucked it up. I took the trip out. As we are heading down towards North Carolina, we are passing one shut down town after another. And, you know, it was houses were shut down, elementary schools were closed down, entire blocks of businesses were closed down. And then for the first time, RV Life Trip Wizard, which is my GPS, took me down a road that I didn't believe was actually a road. We turned down this
dirt road.
That's just a farm.
It was a farm. It was literally a dirt road that they just
again, here's a situation.
Started using.
I don't want to break my RV, and my levelers are like almost sliding on this road trying to. That's how bumpy it is. So I stop. I get out because nobody's on this road, and I Google it, and Google puts me on the same exact path
again
on this dirt road. And I look, it's actually a named road. It's a road in Virginia that we are supposed to drive down. So I said, well, you know what? Just let's go.
So we did it.
And we get through it. We hit the hardball again, our paved road, and continue on our way.
We've seen civilization. We entered Lake Gaston, and that was really nice. But
so Lake Gaston is just outside of a small town named Littleton. Mm-hmm. And it is little. It has a population of 682. And their claim to fame is Lake Gaston. So
yes.
So
we pull in. Well, we tried to pull in.
No, we did good. We pulled in and we went to our campsite, and I look, and it is surrounded by these large trees on both sides.
We didn't think we were going to get in.
Our neighbor didn't think we were going to. He came out to help. But it was not. I put Jolene, would put her out there. We backed in first try.
It was amazing because
there's a ditch across the street, hard, sharp turn into our campground.
Oh yeah, very tight.
I didn't think we were going to make it, and so we get in, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm getting out of here. But that's a weeks later conversation. So we just locked it down, set up our stuff, took our little walk around. Lake Gaston itself is nice.
That was really nice. They had a really nice rec center. They didn't have a store though. That one didn't have a store.
No, they did have a store.
They did have a store that was like way in the back.
Yep.
Right off from the lake. They had an ice cream spot. What else did they have?
They had a lake.
Yeah, they had a lake.
So
we weren't close by it, but we were like down the road from it.
This is another typical. There's probably, I would say, 50% of the sites that I could see, or maybe more, were all permanent annual sites. If we were to stay in Lake Gaston, we should have a boat.
Yeah, you definitely need a boat.
Which would have been perfect. So, again, now here we are coming off of Lynchburg where I'm like defeated. And I look around Lake Gaston and there's nothing except for Littleton, North Carolina, population 682. So, there was one thing that I saw there that I was interested in. And as we looked, we realized there's a secret to Littleton, North Carolina. And that secret is Bigfoot. Bigfoot has a quite a residency
Oh, yes.
in the surrounding area. Enough to pull a Long Islander
Who
all
became
the way
the
down.
mayor of Littleton, 600 plus people, and he won
With the help of Bigfoot.
selection by Bigfoot.
And so he was very well spoken. He had a store in the town. It was a paranormal.
Small museum. He originally started outside, out in his home, which, come to find out, the home that him and his wife
is the most
purchased
haunted
is the
house
most
in
haunted.
Littleton. What would just a coincidence, right? So, and then we also discovered that the border of Littleton
Is the shape of an alien
is
head.
very suspect. And so we decided that we needed to learn more about this phenomenon. So we saw that there was a local park. We wanted to do some hiking.
What was it, Medoc?
So Medoc Mountain State Park. It's not a
Yes.
mountain. And so we took a trip out there. It was like 20 minutes away. And we took a nice walk through there.
It was about, first off, every time we go hiking or do anything on trails, it takes us longer because for some reason we are drawn into the nature of everything. And you all know that I am not normally an outside person, but
So we get there and there's a trail.
nature has been calling us.
There's a trail right outside the Welcome Center. So we go in there and it's cool. There's cool little activities. And Jolene is participating in the activities.
I was participating. I was having a
Pretending-
really good time. It was my exercise moment.
Pretending she's a frog and a spider.
And a squirrel.
And we do this loop. And she's like, that was really fun. I said, okay, well, that was the kids' version.
I'm like, what?
We still have to do the entire hike. And this 3/4 mile stretch was just for fun, right? So
Yeah, so we had a good time. We found quartz rocks. We found mushrooms. He took me up layers.
it was not layers.
It was layers.
It was called the summit, and it was probably like maybe 50 to 100 feet high.
Ugh,
So
where it was very steep. I felt like I was dying in some
Well, you know,
moments. But that's because I'm out of shape, though.
there was
Got to get into shape.
But you go out there on these hikes to see an overlook. In this case, there's a nice bridge. There's
Beautiful tree
Yeah.
canopies. It was a gorgeous spot. But later on, we found out that there has been Bigfoot sightings
and ghost sightings.
and Civil War ghost sightings.
So we
in the park.
may have been watched while we were out there. So that was Littleton. That was the area. And so we came back, and I'm still like, this just isn't enough. There has to be something else. Like, what are we doing here? So a woman had said that the best donuts ever,
Was Jenny's cakes,
in Lake Gaston. And it was around the other side, the north side of the lake.
which was 40 minutes outside of where we were?
Yeah, like,
Which was give or take, but it was just fine. It
so
was nice.
The problem is that when we go to these places, nobody's open on the weekends. Nobody's open on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays.
They open only Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
So I think we showed up on a Monday. We had to wait until Thursday to try one of these donuts. And I got up first thing in the morning. Hey, it's donut day. Let's go. Right? So we take the drive out there and we tested them out.
They weren't too bad. They were pretty good. To me, honestly, it was like eating a Bella Napoli donut. Not as good as
They were donuts. The Bella Napoli's
everyone talked
has
about,
much better
but they were
donuts.
really good, though.
So we tried that out. We took a little drive around. You could tell the north side was a little bit more touristy, even though it was still kind of small. But you could tell it was locals.
A lot of marinas. It was really nice. We had a good time.
So Jolene had been itching to get herself inside of a plantation house. So I looked around, and there was a small town, historic town, Halifax, North Carolina, and they did have a tourable plantation house. So one morning we got up and we took a drive out to Halifax. It took us it was like 35, 40-minute drive.
yeah.
And for us, normally, if it's less than an hour, I'm down with it. And so we went out there, and it was a small little town. Houses range from the early 1800s to the early 1900s. And we paid our $5 to do the tour of Halifax. And
Which it was just us, because, again, it was during the week on a Thursday.
So we saw a tavern. They had the courthouse. And she was able to walk through a plantation house, which wasn't her typical idea of a southern plantation house. It was smaller, but it was neat. It was definitely neat.
Beautiful. We learned some history about Halifax.
So the other thing that was there was Halifax was part of the Underground Railroad, being that it was close to, I believe, two rivers.
Mm-hmm.
So we were able to follow the trail they took to get to the river that they used to get them farther north. And very interesting.
So we were standing right where some of the slaves, the path that they took, we were right there where they first began their path. So that was it was kind of
I think the interesting...
kind of a sad moment for me. I don't know why. I felt like I was connecting with them. I don't know why.
Well,
but
they
I kind of got teary-eyed a little bit standing there.
Along the path, they had newspaper clippings of slave owners giving rewards to find their slaves that had run away. And the way they described them, it was just an insight into that time on how do you describe the person that you're looking for. And there was other things that were, kind of sad, where you saw that we were at the tavern, and the tavern was a popular place to trade. And one of the things they traded was slaves.
Yeah, and right there where they're drinking alcohol, their big glasses of wooden beer.
Yeah, and
they're switching out slaves with each other.
They would put their newspaper articles out telling what they were offering and what they were looking for. And it was definitely interesting insight. We were able to walk and see really some of these old houses that had been, some had been restored, some were original, you could see. And
I got to see cotton fields. I thought that was the greatest thing as we're driving along.
So, the funny thing is, in New York, we're passing down the thruway, and you've got cornfields and apple fields. Then you get down to Virginia, it's cornfields and soybean fields. And as we approach North Carolina, suddenly...
it was in the Virginia, early North Carolina, like the borders of the two. You see nothing but white fields. It was like snow, and it was beautiful. I told Jeff, I'm like, can we please pull over? And what did you tell me?
Getting shot. So we it's neat, to see the different farms. Well, you could have let me finish my sentence.
Nope, you're gonna just get back. I need to go get my piece of cotton.